Hello everyone. Today, we're going on an adventure to statically link an SFML project on Windows using MinGW GCC. This will be accomplished in 2 steps. The first step will be downloading the SFML sources and using CMake to generate and build the library files. The second step will be writing a test program and makefile that will be used to statically link and compile the program. With that, let's go to the SFML download page at sfml-dev.org and click the button for the latest version. The page that brings you to will have several buttons on it. Ignore most of them and scroll to the bottom. There is a box labeled All, and to the right of it is a box that says Source Code with a button next to it. Click that button and download the source to a folder you won't forget. Extract the contents of the downloaded archive file to its own folder. Now we can use CMake to generate the files we need to build the source. I'm using CMake GUI here because I'm lazy, but if you know what you're doing, then deviating from this step slightly and using the command line tool should be fine. All we're doing is getting CMake to generate the files that are specific to the compiler we're using. Point the source directory box to the folder we just extracted from the archive. This folder will contain cmakelists.txt. The build directory box is where the build files will go and can be whatever folder you want. For simplicity, I'm putting it in the same folder as the folder we extracted from the archive. Now we can click the Configure button. CMake will prompt you for the compiler you're using. There's a bunch of options in the list, but we're using MinGW GCC for this tutorial, so select the MinGW makefiles option and click Finish. CMake will do some sanity checks to ensure that the compiler you selected is present on your system and is ready to use. Once it's finished doing its thing, a list of options will appear in the center of the window. Uncheck the Build Shared Libs box, check the SFML Use Static STD Libs box, and set CMake install prefix to a directory that suits your needs. Again, for simplicity, I'm changing the folder to one in the same directory we've been working in. I'll name it simply SFML, since the files that will appear in this folder are the final files we will be using to compile our SFML program. Once these settings are entered, click the Configure button one more time just to make sure there are no conflicts, and then click the Generate button. CMake will generate the files in the directory that you specified in the build directory box. Once it is finished, CMake can be closed. Next, we have to build the SFML files. Open a console window and point it to the build directory. Run the make program on the build directory with install as the argument. For my setup, I run the command mingw32-make install. GCC will build the files and place them in the install directory you provided to CMake. On this particular version of the SFML source, there was an issue with the opengl.hpp header file that prevented successful building. If you run into an error during this part of the process, always check Google to see if anyone else has had the same problem. Luckily, in this case, someone had posted about the problem in the SFML forums, and a solution with a simple workaround had already been given, which you can see me implementing here. Once the files have been built, it's time to set up our test program. Create your makefile in the test program source code file. Here, I'll write a basic SFML program that opens a window with a black background. With the program written, we can start writing the makefile. As this is a C++ program, we will be invoking G++ to compile. Pass the test CPP file name as the first argument to G++, then specify a name for the output executable with the O option. Add DSFML static so that the compiler knows this will be linked statically. Specify the include directory, which can be found in the install directory from earlier. Do the same for the lib directory. After the lib directory, we need to tell SFML which dependencies the linker will need to know about. To figure out which of these we need, go to the SFML FAQ page and find the section about static linking. It includes a list and diagram of the dependencies. The dependencies need to be provided in the correct order, otherwise the linker will error out. With the makefile finished and the test program written, we can run the make program in the same directory as the makefile to compile the test program. If no errors are given, you will have a statically linked program that won't depend on DLLs to run.